It was a point gained for City against Leeds on Saturday lunchtime at the gate. Not too many chances in the game, but City, goodness me, they fought really hard. Very well organised, and now they make it 7 championship games unbeaten. A 7th draw of this campaign as well. And to take us through some of the key moments, delighted to say we've got Chris and we've got Leroy here. And I said it was a point game. Would you say it was a point game, Leroy?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
Leeds are a top side. I thought City did well first half. I thought they were the moments when they could get forward and keep Leeds pinned back. They did that and created a couple of half chances. But as soon as McCrory went off, I thought it was difficult and they had to readjust. And then City chose their quality, Chris, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought they showed a lot of discipline. I think they worked really hard second half. It was brilliant to see, because over the years previous to this, I think we would have caved in.
Yeah.
But we showed a huge amount of resilience against a very good Leeds team with abundance of money and huge finances in comparison to us. You can see the two squads are very different in size. When we had an injury, they bring on an international.
Yeah.
It goes on and on. But we equipped ourselves amazingly well.
Yeah.
And I would have taken a point before the game.
Definitely.
But that point didn't come easy, and it was lots of hard work, and we walk away with a point at the end of it, and we keep our unbeaten run going.
Let's take a look at the stats from the game itself then. And as you see, in terms of shots on target from us, not too many. Possession, obviously Leeds had more possession, but do those stats tell the story, or is that slightly...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you're watching the game second half, Bristol City had to suffer.
Yeah.
They were suffering, and the stats reflect that. Expected goals 0.16. You're trying to think how many chances did City really create. Although, Leeds only just above 1 shows that they didn't have too many real opportunities, and no shots on target. But the key is is the duels won. In that. Because they were all in. The game was played in Bristol City's half for the second part of that game. Those duels ones and those interceptions were at key times in and around their box, which didn't allow Max O'Leary to have to make many saves, and that resilience was really, really important.
Yeah, you see Leeds 17 shots. I'm scratching my head thinking, did they have 17 shots? It's just one of those...
Well, you remember the one that Max O'Leary did ever so well with James first half, and then you remember the one that Zach Viner kicked off the line, but there wasn't a lot more. Maybe the downward header first half as well, but 17...
Sounds a lot, doesn't it? Sounds like domination.
It kind of paints a different picture to the one I saw. Maybe there was lots of wayward shots. There was a header that went flying over the crossbar towards the end of the midway through the second half. But I thought City equipped themselves really well. They dug in. And they deserved the point come the end. What
did you make of City's formation? Because remember, we were sitting here when we got the team sheet and we were poring over it, thinking, how are they going to? Where it seemed to have you on the right and Sykes on the right, and we were for a while we were thinking, hang on a minute, how is this working out?
Well, we thought we were going to pick up from the really positive attacking performance from the Stoke game away, and Sykes was really great, wide right, high on the right, and Hirakawa we thought would come in for Mehmeti on the left-hand side. But then once the game started, it was obvious that they'd obviously gone into a 5. It's something that they'd worked on. And then you could see the reasons why. Here's their formation. You've got Sykes, Tanner, Viner, McNally and McCrory as the back 5. In front of them is McGuane and Knight. And then almost a front 3 of Bird, Wells and Hirakawa, and the front 3 were there to just do that front screen and not allow Leeds to come through the centre of it. And in this picture you can see that's where all the Leeds players are conjugating, and right at the top of the picture they've got 3 players in the wide positions, and that's where City wanted to push them into those wide areas. And then when they got into those wide areas, that's where they really wanted to apply pressure. And do you know what, for the most part it really did work. You see the Leeds players didn't want to go in that central area because there's too many bodies in there. The front screen did a really good job. And when City got out, what they did really well, having that front 3 there, is when they lost the ball, Bird, Hirakawa and Wells did really well on the counter press to win the ball again, to get a run of attacks. And that's when that became a little bit disjointed when McCrory came off, because he was the out ball. A couple of times, Max was under pressure, he just put a big high ball out to Ross, and he won the first header. Wells picked up the ball and they got up the pitch. And that was part of the plan, and it was working.
Yeah, you got a perfect view from your position up in the press box, looking at what did you make of the way that we set up, and did you think it worked? It was solid, wasn't it?
Well, I think what Leeds make it really difficult because they actually spread the play, so they play with 2 very wide men, as far forward as you can possibly get, and then they try to make runs down the middle, either side of the centre forward. So they're trying to stretch play. So you have to almost have people sat in those areas to fill the gaps.
Yeah.
And obviously they've been watching the way Leeds play, and they know where they're dangerous. Sometimes Notto came around and pilled in and tried to get the ball off the centre forward, and on the other side James tried to do it. So they're very fluid in the way they play. But Bristol City matched them. First half was a really entertaining game, and it only became a little bit more difficult once City had to readjust the second half. I think we kind of accepted that a point was good enough, and we kind of sat in a little bit deeper. We actually banked up a little bit more, a little bit narrower and a little bit tighter, and we kind of tried to catch them on the counter attack, which we probably failed to do a little bit more second half than we did first.
You picked out a clip of Tanner Viner when they were a sort of a pressing clip, a clip, shall we say? What did you make of what was going on here?
When Ross McCrory went off, and you saw George Tanner was in the wide right position. Now, if you just stop it there, the clip, as it just goes in there, he shouldn't come out of that slot. He's gone in, and then Zach turns and have a chat with him and said, "Get back in there. I don't want you to," because Zach doesn't want to come out of that central slot. And it was a really key moment, because when you reorganise, people kind of lose sight of their jobs. If you cannot really affect the ball, like George has come out of his slot, he's run about like 20 yards again, he's not affecting the Leeds player, and it means that Zach has had to come out of that slot, and he's gone all the way in there. Now Zach's been stressed. Now that's a problem. Now Zach's actually gone to the right back area. All of a sudden they're really stressed, and that's what Leeds wanted. And Tanner's had to go back in as a centre half. You don't want your centre half wide on the right. And so he had a little word with him, said, "Do not do that again, because I need to stay. As a centre, I need to stay in this central area when you're playing the five." And they did that really well. And those are the problems that happen when someone goes off. I'm looking at the left backs they've had this season: Pring, Roberts, McCrory, Sykes, Morrison. Another left-sided defender goes off, and they really had to do it on the job, readjust on the job. And those little conversations that Zach was having with George, saying, "Look, you can't do that again. You should just come across, just let him have the ball, and we'll keep our shape. Let him come onto us. Let's not become detached by going chasing the ball when we're not in a position to affect the ball." And
also, is Zach going out there? He then isolates McNally in the middle, and he doesn't want to leave that gap for players from the midfield to make the runs into that channel. And I've played both positions. I've played the centre half being isolated out wide, and I've been the fullback who's gone too tight, too quickly, too early, and opened up that space and left that gap. And I've had the centre half telling me, "Oi, do your job. You don't go until I give you the shout to go." And I've been the centre half who said, "Now you can push on. Just go gently, and then just follow and keep the ball in front of us." So it was all very good, and I thought that was you could see the guys communicating. And we'll go on in a minute about other players communicating in other positions, but that is definitely the defence working really well.
Absolutely.
Not too many chances, of course, for City in the match as a whole, but McNally came remarkably close with maybe our best moment as an attacking force in that first half, with his acrobatic effort.
Yeah, and this comes off a set piece. That's why there's plenty of red shirts in around the body, and he stayed up there for this secondary attack. And it's put in nice and early from Max Bird. A little bit of confusion in that Leeds box, and it pops up off his knee, and so really is a terrific attempt of the overhead kick, which he pulls off brilliantly. And this isn't far wide. The goalkeeper Mesley's got absolutely no chance if that's on target. It actually made me smile. I think it made Luke smile as well, because if that had gone in, he'd be living off that for months.
Well, I don't know whether you see them trotting back to the halfway line. He's actually smiling and laughing. And I think he says something to one of his teammates as he runs past him. But this is another chance again. One of the better chances where Hirakawa comes in on his left foot. It could have gone anywhere.
Oh, it really could. It could have nestled nicely in that bottom corner, couldn't it?
Yeah, but you saw Max Bird there as well. But you know what? It's difficult because he's under pressure, isn't he? His head's down. His elbow.
And do you know what? You go past or you waltz past one player, and you kind of think, do you know what? I'm on a roll here. I can't wait to get this shot away because I've deserved to make the chance myself. But the smart man does feed Bird in, and on that occasion he didn't.
It was going pretty well for us in that first half, but it did change when Ross McCrory was very unfortunate to get an injury. It's hard to see quite what happened to him. You can see how frustrated he was when he took off his shin pads, and he's had such a difficult time with injury since he joined us, really.
He certainly has. He just won another header just before this, and he went out of picture, so we didn't see what it was, but you could see that there's no way he was going to carry on. He's had such a hard road back to fitness, and he was looking back to his best. But it caused us a real problem for this was in the 34th minute, and then from then on you saw Max Bird dropping into that left wing back role, and Leeds tried to exploit it. Far post cross to Jayden Bogle, And if McCrory's there, he wins that header. You know,
that
he
was
puts
literally 30 seconds after, wasn't it?
That was,
I think McCrory was still on the floor at that time.
Yeah.
And Max Bird kind of knew he was there, but couldn't do anything about it.
No, and it's about he's a midfield player playing in there. McCrory, we know how strong he is in the air. He gets there, his body position's right, and he defends that, heads that away for a corner. And you're just kind of holding your breath there. This is a short corner again. Nonto, we didn't react. Didn't get out to Nonto, and he hits the shot on target. You know, Max makes a good save, a save that he would expect to make, but it's still a good save. And those are the moments where you thought, okay, let's just get to half time and let's just reassess. And you know, there's a short corner again. It's just Nonto just finds he's in too much space. You know, for a player of his quality. Hits the target and it's a good save.
Yeah, we didn't really reorganise very quickly after the substitution, and I think that was a result of that. And that corner, we all fell asleep and we didn't do our jobs. But this was obviously Leeds' best chance of the first half. Again, the ball played in behind Naismith, and James shows him a clean pair of heels. Max O'Leary sees the opportunity to slide out, make himself as big as possible, and he does it brilliantly well.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, Chris, but the problem is with the one change, it made 4 positional changes.
Yeah.
You know, and that is so difficult for any side. McCrory
right,
comes off, Sites comes to the left side, wing back. Tanner goes to right wing back. Viner then goes to right side, his centre half, and McNally comes on at centre half. So 4 changes because of one substitution, and it was always going to be difficult. But they did well to get to half time. You know, you expect the keeper to make the save, and you know what? Max made his saves. That's his job, and he did it and got him to half time.
I suppose the big bit of team news at the start, Marcus McGuane getting his first start in the Championship for City. It didn't last the whole game. You wouldn't really expect him to. He hasn't played that much. But what did you make of his performance in the centre of midfield, in for Joe Williams?
Well, I thought he did great. I really did. I mean, it's actually a hard, big shoes to fill. I mean, because I was worried about missing Joe Williams this afternoon. But there was one time McGuane made a brilliant recovery run. He started showing a little bit of tiredness, a little bit of. I think this is the one now where he shows, you know, against James, who's rated as one of the fastest in the league. And he not only does he catch him up, but he gets past him and he gets goal side. And then he follows the ball and he puts enough pressure on the next man that Bristol City win possession back. And that was an amazing recovery run. And I didn't expect him to have the pace, or the legs to do it. There's the combination of the 2 words there. But he did really well. But City, you know, I thought it was never going to last more than 60 minutes, and you can't expect him to. And when the substitution came on, I wasn't surprised.
Yeah, he did really well. I mean, to be honest, let's be honest, he's without the ball for the most part, and coming on to make your debut, where you know the team's got 70% possession and you're just without the ball and having to work as hard as he did. He did really well for 60 minutes.
Well, you used the word suffering a lot, and he was in that suffering position.
Exactly.
There's a lot of things going on around him. He was doing doggies here, and he was moving there, left, right, little sprints. That takes a lot out of your legs, doesn't it?
He kept his concentration. And the two in midfield, him and Jason Knight. The reason why they're in there is because of their legs and because of their energy. You know, but the front 3 did a really good screen. But when it went into those midfield areas, by the way, Rothwell and Tanaka, they're good players, but they made them play backwards all the time. You know, sometimes you can't go and win the ball, but if you make Tanaka and Rothwell, don't allow them to get play forward. You're doing your job, and that takes a hell of a amount of work, a lot of doggies, and they did that really well. So that difficult side of the game, which isn't recognised, you know, where you don't get a touch of the ball, but you just make the play backwards, they keep possessing the ball, was really important, and those 2 midfield players did that excellently today.
It's also an incredibly special day in the young life of Elijah Morrison as well. Came off the bench and well, he certainly got involved, didn't he? Fantastic.
Brilliant. I love it. I mean, we were talking about the conveyor belt and the whole Bristol City academy. He's one of the young lads who did very well in the FA Youth Cup. He came on, he's a local lad, big game experience, playing in front of the biggest crowd I'm sure he's ever played in front of. He got a booking. He did a great run.
For a great tackle.
And a brilliant tackle, which he got a booking for, which for me never justified it. But yeah, the lad really made a big impression on me, and I can't wait to see him keep playing. I mean, if you think he's 4th choice left back at the moment, he's certainly going to make his way up through the rankings, and that's for sure, with a tackle and with loads of energy. He got to the touchline a couple of times and won a corner, so yeah, he's certainly one to watch for the future.
This is what I really liked, this clip, because, you know, as someone who, when the ball, off the ball, he recognises the second man in behind, and he's not ball watching, he's watching the man, he got his body in here, and this was terrific. This is towards the end of the game. City are out on their legs, he just runs to the corner, no one's supporting him, he said, right, I'm gonna try and make something happen. There's another Bristol City player who wants the ball. And he gets a massive round of applause. By the way, the other back four, who was still 10 yards outside their box, were giving them a round of applause as well.
Absolutely,
because they managed to get back into shape and they got a massive breather. Yeah. But what confidence that gives to a young player to come on against arguably one of the best players in the Championship and winning Nonto up against him. Nonto went out for a little while after that. But Liam said to him, go and play in there, go and stop him playing. And he did really well. And the moments that he was involved in, he got absolutely right.
Yeah. Before we go, I must just mention next week Preston away, so it's never, it's often not a happy hunting ground for us, but about time we won there, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. No, we looked at this little run of fixtures after a run of home games that we didn't particularly do well, Sheffield Wednesday and Cardiff, and we looked at the fixtures in front of us, and you know what, we've done quite well.
Yeah.
You know, we've taken more points already. We've taken 5 points in the last 3 games. Preston doesn't scare me. I've got to be honest with you, they're going okay. But you know, away from home, we seem to have the credentials to take it to any team, and we look dangerous on the counter attack. So I think we might be able to turn it around. Leeds are meant to be one of our bogey teams, so we don't tend to do well against them, and we've nicked a point today. So long may that continue.
So 7 unbeaten becomes 8 unbeaten at Preston.
Absolutely. Well, you said to me we only won 1 in 18 against Leeds. It's 1 on 19. It's 1 in 19 now, but it was a good performance. And I said to you about the performance. The tactically got it right against a very good Leeds side. Another a clean sheet, which was terrific. And move forward.
Yeah, great to see you, Chris. Great to see you, Leroy. Appreciate it. And also, don't forget our coverage of the Preston game this coming weekend. Enjoy that. Thanks for your company. We'll see you again soon. Enjoy the rest of the week. Bye-bye.